Hello, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald.
I'm bored.
And we are bringing you a rulebook rundown of Galactic Cruise by Kinston Key Games.
Yeah, brand new game. We just did the unboxing, so please check that out on YouTube if you're wondering what the components look like, how to get it in and out of the box with or without the expansions. We covered both. But if you want to know how to play this, we don't know how to play it, so we can't help you.
Yeah.
We're going to learn together.
Yeah, we're going to read the rulebook, so you don't have to. All right. Galactic Cruise, first of all, has a large rulebook, and everything is very in theme, so it's called a training manual, which I love. But paper, very nice linen finish, and a good heft to it. So as we get going here, it says, welcome to Galactic Cruise. Hello, and welcome to Galactic Cruise. Here, we offer our guests something special, the comfort of a luxurious cruise with innovations of space travel. As the first company to offer extended stay space vacations, we are excited to have you join our workforce as a supervisor of the company. As I'm sure you already know, our founder and CEO, Travis E. Preston, will be stepping down in 3 years' time, and the board of directors is looking for his replacement. As a supervisor, you will earn victory points, or VP, for constructing ships, satisfying guests. Hey. We need to satisfy some guests.
That's why they're adventurous.
And further developing our company.
This is the Bill Cosby guest.
Oh, no. Or the Abby guest. LA joke. Hello. And further developing our company. But you will also need to ensure that you impress the board of directors if you want to earn the coveted title of CEO. Each year, the board of directors will conduct an annual general meeting, or AGM, to assess, or ass, your progress. And at the end of 3 years, the supervisor who has earned the most VP will become the new CEO of Galactic Cruise and win the game. How to use this manual. We have our little person here. Hello, everyone. I'm Zoe, and I'm in charge of onboarding new employees at Galactic Cruise. I hope you enjoyed your welcome pack and Mr. Preston's letter, workstation organization tips, and your employee badge. So all that stuff they mentioned came in here. We'll show you what they are. So it just has an employee badge, a lot of fun, and then it has a letter from the CEO, which is just a typical welcome letter. Huh? Oh, I thought we were. Sorry, I thought it was top down. No. So, yep. Welcome letter and lanyard. Gracias. And a nice little thing to keep them all in. All right. To ensure that you have a quality experience, I want to give you some pointers on how to navigate your training manual. Generally speaking, you will find detailed rules of play on the left-hand side of each page, with examples listed on the right-hand side. I can't make an R. Additionally, you will encounter some other colored boxes throughout the manual. So I've made a nifty "What does this mean?" section to help you make sense of it all. So if we want to go top down, we'll show them here. So they have the "What does this mean?" here. So we have an orange. So whenever you see these symbols, pay attention to the rules, the player count, or the current game. So it shows that. Yep, perfect. Nice. Key concepts with a little key. So key concepts are written by the founder, Travis E. Preston himself. These boxes detail fundamentals and the day-to-day responsibilities here at Galactic Cruise. Be sure to read each and every one of these concepts as you enter them in your training in your training manual. E.g., these are examples to help clarify things. If you have any questions about the rules, reading them is not required, but it'll help you learn the game. And then we have these are notes left by me, Zoe, your resident genius, narcissist, and employee onboarding expert.
She's a stable little genius.
My goodness. They are very helpful reminders, especially for new supervisors. And then you have little green boys down here. While the heart of Galactic Cruise is in the manufacturing of the ships and the satisfaction of the guests, we also have a full staff copywriting experts who have written riveting flavor text throughout all the works. While they are entertaining to read, they are not necessary for your position in the company. All right. And on to Steve.
Yeah, so just to call out for setup, we do have the expansions. There's 2 of them, Accommodations and Advancements. Both of those are kind of mixed into the setup here of all of the pieces. but it's pretty well divided in terms of like
notated, yeah.
Yeah, notated. There we go. It's not divided. Notated for how you set things up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Campus tour. Before you dive into the training manual, I'll be giving you a tour of our campus. A lot goes on here, and I want to make sure you understand how each department works. So we are going to start with department number 1, agendas. This building is where our board of directors have their regular meetings. Here, the board of directors will provide you with some detailed agendas and some sound advice on how to do your job more efficiently. They always have an ear out for fresh ideas too. So if you have some agendas of your own, you may be rewarded for them. A word to the wise, flattering the board of directors will take you far.
Yeah, that's any company.
Right here, 1, 2, and 3, those are your progress track and goals. And all of these just give a little flavor text for each of the sections. I'm assuming the next page goes to the actual setup. Do we want to read all the flavor texts?
Is anything pertaining to...
No, that's all over.
Okay, so we can call out like what the sections are then.
Okay. Up on top here, we have technologies. Number 4, which are these 4 or 6 boxes here. Those are the network. That'd be the central area of the campus. Number 5, the bottom line there, the tracker, is called the reputation. Number 6 right here is your storage silo. Number 7 up the left-hand side here are the blueprints. Number 8 is your ship. And number 9
on the market
is your marketing team and pieces. So that just sits right there, which I believe is off the screen.
There we go.
Nice. Yeah, so right here we have the full market.
Full Monty.
So now let's dive into how to set all of this up.
And if we need to, we can pull out to the larger screen. It's big enough that it'll be easy to see. So if we want to do that for most of the time, that'll be just fine.
Yep. So the first thing it calls out here, this is something Nick and I will cover at the end, is there is a page 34 here, which is all 2-player rules. So if you're playing this with just 2 players, there's some different setup and things of that nature. We'll just call out general setup to start.
Yeah.
So, main board setup. What is step 1?
Put the board in the middle. Unfold and put the board in the center of the table.
Intro side up. Intro side is the one with all the symbols. If you look at the other side of the board, all of these are all blank, including technologies. So it's kind of like a clean slate. We think you draft. We don't know. But this is the intro side.
Yep.
You're first going to take the agenda cards, shuffle them, place them face down beside the main game board, then reveal 4 from the top of the deck and place them on the indicated spots. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Shut up, Steve. And 4. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. That's better. Pull up the big view so you can see everything here. So those are the agendas. So then, do these go the pile or anywhere else? It's
right here. Off the board. That'll be the discard.
Oh, okay. So if you saw me, I removed the top agendas here just because those are the expansions. I didn't feel like shuffling those in, so I don't think it'll make a difference, but boom. Boom.
Next up, place the progress track tiles labeled with the correct player count on the matching spaces 1, 2, and 3. And on the back there, it does indicate those player counts.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, boom, boom.
Yep.
1, 2.
So on the others, it'll say 3, and then there's one that says 4. And you can tell by the number of spaces. So the least amount of spaces is for 1, 2 player.
Makes sense.
All right. Next, you're going to place a neutral cube in the bottom space of each progress tracker. Nope. One of those is wrong. There we go.
Yep.
Nope. One of those is still wrong.
The expansion came with some different size ones, right?
Is that?
This one.
Yeah, these are too small.
Yeah. So it goes in the bottom space, the rightmost space?
The bottom left or the leftmost. So like the bottom left for like number 2 there.
Yeah.
Place a neutral cube in the bottom left space. Oh, look at that. I should have kept reading the next sentence. Number 2 in a 1 and 2 player game, not in boards 1 or 3. That was every time.
Told you. We warned you.
Place a company goal tracker In each of the 3 bottom spaces of the company goal area, 1 or 2 player game, use the middle spaces instead. So that is the tracker down there. So we shove these up and
Don't we just use this one?
Nope.
Oh.
Maybe. Yep.
Because we're using the introductory side.
Not the
yeah. So the little triangle goes in the bottom middle.
Middle space in a 2 player game.
All 3 of them?
Middle, yeah, of each section. No, middle.
Of each section.
Middle, yeah. The other middle.
Got it.
Middle row, not middle column.
Oh, it says here too, actually. There's a little 1 and 2.
Oh, nice.
Right
there we go. Place a technology tile at random face down next to the game board. This will be used in step 7.
Okay.
Leave the rest face down nearby in a 1 and 2 player game. So the rest of these technology, we have a total of 20 of them, including the expansions. They'll just all sit in a pile off to the side right now. Refer to the printed graphic on the face down technology, number 6, which is the one we have right here, as to where to place the neutral developments. Place a neutral development on each of those locations.
So on the back here, you have a map of this board here, and it shows you for 1 and 2, 3, and 4. So it looks like we're putting 1 on here. We have 1 over here, and 1 up here.
Seems to be what I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if they're supposed to be going on that green spot or not.
Placed in each area, covering the reputation icon.
Yep. I should have assumed that it would go there.
Once the neutral developments are placed, return the technology tile and any unused to the box. So that'll just go back to the stack. So that's not actually using the technology, it's just using the back, which is kind of cool, multi-purpose.
Yeah, so there's all of them on the back, so it'll be completely randomized. Nice.
Have the money and ad tray available to you. Number 9, place the blueprints. They're not that. Where is the box? Box of blueprints. Next to the main board, shuffle the blueprints, return them to the tray, take 5 from the tray, placing them 1 through 5 right here.
Okay. We'll just pull 5 randos instead of shuffling right now as we go through this. And placing them here.
Yep.
Face up or face down?
Place them blueprint side up. Because you gotta find it, okay?
Yep. Cool. Kind of Kanban EV-ish. Nice. Okay. And these are
just in the box off to the side of the board, it says.
Just chilling?
Yep.
So we'll put them right here. Bottle them. Why not?
Yeah.
Bless you. My goodness.
Nope, no. Rolled right on back. Place a small resource tracker of each type in the number 2 space on the little circles.
Yep.
Place the cockpit and the engine trays next to the game board. Shuffle the cockpit tiles, return them to the tray. Take 4 and place them with the -5 side up on the cockpit spaces.
And then do the same, I assume, for the others.
Shuffle the engine tiles. Take 4 of them, place them with the bonus side up on the engine spaces.
That's the bonus side, right?
I
assume
the other side
because it matches the. That's an empty spot.
Yeah, this just says bonus. So...
I assume because it matches.
Yeah, that'd have to be that. This gave a specific example of one of the bonuses. But yeah, it shows like a little box down there with some symbols in it.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that is the setup of the main board. So again, this over here is the marketing board. We'll now set up that. Shuffle the guest bonus tokens, which are these right here.
Put these over here. Off to the side.
Is the...
Huh? Oh, there's one.
So shuffle those, place, and randomly place 1 in each of the 3 indicated spaces. In a 1, 2, or 3-person game, use the marketing board overlays to cover the bottom 1 or 2 spaces. Use 1 overlay in a 3-player, 2 in a 1 or 2-player.
So you have those overlays in the bottom, right there next to you.
Yep.
So this would be a 1 or 2-player game.
So these will get covered just like Vinhos.
Yep. Boom, boom. And then these go where?
1, 2, 3. And then just any 3 of them.
And do they go this side up, unseen?
They will go scene side up.
Just like that.
Yep. So you can see what the bonus effect is.
Cool. And then the remainder?
Return the rest to the books.
Cool.
Place the marketing tray, which is the T.
Okay.
Next to the marketing board, creating a supply of guest and cruise tiles. So those are just available.
Okay.
Fill the top 3 spaces of the marketing board with the cruises marked with a star on the front of the tile. So that is, you're gonna take those, yep, and place them here.
So the star on the front of the tile. So great. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3.
Need more?
Yeah.
Oh, top 3. Nope.
Okay.
Top 3.
And they go right here on top, like this?
Yeah. Shuffle the remaining and place 1 in the 4th spot. So there's always the 3 in a 1 or 2-person game. You'd only have 1 more, and then you'd have more based on how many players you have. 3 or 4 players on top of that.
Oh, this upside down. It's not button.
From the supply, take a matching guest for each destination listed on the face-up cruises, and then set them aside to be used in the next step. If a number of set-aside guests is fewer than 7, add 1 guest for each color. So it has a guest picture here.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to pull those out.
Stop fighting with me, you stupid whatever, where that is. So per picture, it says?
Yes. So that says, let me read this real quick. So we have a total based on this of 5 guests.
Yeah.
It says we need at least 7. So in that scenario, add 1 guest of each color. So you're going to grab those and then grab an additional 1 of each color.
Okay. So if you don't have 7,
you grab an 7 specifically in a 1 or 2-player game.
1 of each color afterwards.
Until you get to 7.
Until you get to...
Or 7 or higher.
Okay, so we should have 8.
Yeah, so we'll have 8 specifically for this example. But if there's only 4, then we get to exactly 7 here.
Okay. Where do they go?
Randomly place all of these set-aside guests 1 at a time in the queue. These are the queues. Place 1 in each section, top to bottom, then repeat until all guests have been placed. Unless it's randomly, but sure.
Oh, okay.
All 3 sections are used regardless of number of players.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's fine. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So that is the setup for the board. Now, again, this is the intro game. Because there's this side, there is a whole setup here for the standard game, which is the other side of the board. The main differences here are setting up technology tiles, setting up this track on the bottom. Those are all provided to you in the box. So, for example, we have this, which could get placed down in that corner. We have all the technology tiles, etc. So, if you want to play a standard game, you gotta add some variety to things.
Cool.
Now we will go to the player board.
So we can actually do, because I think the camera's flipped for you.
Oh, is it?
If you want me to read the player board, right?
It is.
All right.
Solid.
We share here, only when doing this though. All right. Player board, anatomy and setup. So on the left side, we have the launch elevator. This is an elevator your worker rides to board the ship when launching. It represents a 5-second countdown and lists the 6 steps performed during a launch. And as you can see there, it has a countdown there.
The 6 steps.
Boom, boom, boom. The launch tower is directly next to that. Perfect. The launch tower comprises 8 upgrade tokens split between 2 sections. Throughout the game, these upgrade tokens will be triggered for bonuses, flipped and removed. Cool. So he has those in his tray there, which I'll set up in a second.
Yep.
And then we have this little coffee section here. That's your break room. This area is the place where your workers and experts stay when they are not working, i.e. placed in the network or piloting a ship. Okay? Then this section here, that is the upgrade section. Across the top of the player board are the 3 different destinations: the adventurous destination, the relaxation destination, and the family destination. Each destination has 3 different upgrades that can be unlocked throughout the game by visiting it. Then you have the developments area. Developments are kept here until built. They limit how many resources can be stored on your player board. And then directly to the left of that, you have your resources. Food, oxygen, and fuel are stored here.
Blood.
Yeah, fuel, not well. Could still be fuel. Stored here, and you will track the amount of each using large resource trackers. As you gain and spend these resources, you will move the trackers right and left accordingly. Okay, so for setup, each player takes a board, an employee handbook, which is the player aid, and a player tray with the components in their color of their choice, and then does the following. 1. Take your starting cockpit and engine tiles marked with a star and place them to the left of your player board with the correct sides face up as shown. So the bottom one has the little square, yep, and the top one has the diagonal lines of -5.
-5. Boop.
Boom, boom, boom. I assume that is because the bottom is you probably have built already and you're going to be building up to the top. I don't know. Find out. Okay. Then 2A and 2B. Place your 2 expert workers into the spaces shown. So that is going to be, so 2A is going to go there. And 2B is going, yep, perfect. 3, place your 2 workers in the break room. So 2 smaller spots in the break room there. Boom, boom. Place your 9 developments into the spaces shown. So
9?
Right there,
Oh.
down there.
Oh, so you got to unlock the developments. That makes sense.
Yep. And that lets you gather more resources by unlocking those developments. Then after that, we're going to be placing the 3 large resource trackers, and there's 1 space of each type, which you've already done. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Place 4 brown upgrade tokens with the funding bonus icon on the top 4 spaces of your launch tower. Those are the brown ones. Yep. Other way around.
Cool. 50 shot, got it wrong.
Yep. There we go.
Do these match? They do. Hold on. They actually match the symbols underneath.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Matching your bonus type. So place the remaining 4 gray upgrade tokens into the bottom in any configuration.
So, because we have expansions added, we actually have 8 on the bottom here. So we'll randomly grab 4. The other 4 will go back to the tray.
As a little bit of asymmetry. Wow. Asymmetry to the game. Asymmetry.
I happen to get 1 of each of the 2 new things. Cool.
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay. Take your starting 10 money and 2 ads from the supply. These are listed on the back of your starting engine tile as a reminder.
Boom, 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 boom. There's 5 in singles. We have 5 here. And we have boom, boom.
So I believe on the back of the bottom tile of your spaceship, your engine tile, it says it lists that.
It does. So it says 10 there in credit symbol, plus 2 in the add symbol. We have a bunch of other stuff here based on that. We'll get to that in a second. And I don't know what the calendar is. I'm assuming we'll get to that in a second as well.
So just moving that up a little bit. You can see your board a little bit more. There you go. Yeah. Boop. Okay. Place your 3 progress cubes, or place 3 of your progress cubes above the company goal tile in the spaces matching your player color on the main board. So on the main board, place those
There we go.
right there.
Yep.
Boom. Okay. Do not place any cubes in the leftmost column. Wait, what? The main board, see image to the right. Okay.
Number 8.
Number 8, yep. Says do not place any cubes in the leftmost column. Place the remaining cubes near your... Oh, which is this.
Yeah. So keep the others over here.
Place your VP tracker at 5, which has a little circle for the start.
Cool.
And your reputation tracker at 0.
Okay, so that is back here on the game board. The little one of Saturn is your VP tracker. That goes on the 5. Reputation is a little, 0 down there. That makes more sense.
Reputation tracks on the bottom, yeah.
That makes way more sense. But that's down there, and that's a little star.
Yep. Okay. Respective tracks on the main board. Yep. Place your 100 VP/200 VP token beside your player board.
Yep.
Got it.
Chilling over here.
Place your cruise consultant on the marketing board as shown. So your big-headed person is going to go on the marketing board under your color.
Cool. So that's right here. We have a green space. So let's put the dude right there into green.
Marvelous. The player who most recently went on a cruise will be the first player and take the first player token. Which is that big guy there.
Yep.
Amazing. In clockwise order, starting with the first player, draw 1 agenda card from the top of the agenda card deck and set your starting reputation. So the first player stays at 0 reputation. The second player would start at 1 reputation, so I'll just put that on there.
That is here on the back of this little card as well. So that plus at the bottom there is your agenda card. So you can see that, +1 agenda card. And then first player, nothing. Second player, +1 reputation.
Okay.
Let's see my agenda.
Third player gets 2. Fourth player gets 3.
Do we shuffle these?
In reverse, not really. A little bit, but... In reverse order, you will do both 13A and 13B. So, reverse order meaning going from whoever's going last back to whoever's going first. Place 1 development at no cost from the left column of the developments on your player board into the network in an area where no development is currently present. So, you will cover a reputation icon and gain 1 reputation.
So the network is the whole central board here. So as you can see, we have 3 technology spots available. This one's covered. And then you have those 4 available in the main central network.
Correct.
So you would go first.
So I would go first, and I would choose one of these to place it on. So if I put it here, and I get 1 reputation for doing so.
Yep. I will decide that I'm going to go here, and I get 1 reputation for doing that.
Correct. The development cannot be placed below a technology. It says the next line. So the top lines are technologies. Hilarious. It says, don't overthink it. This is a learning experience, and any area will be valuable throughout the game.
No, it won't. When I listen to you, Zoe.
So now 13B. Take a blueprint tile from the main board and place it to the right of your player board in one of the indicated spaces. You do not pay when taking blueprints, only when building them onto your ship.
Very similar to games we've played.
Do not refill the blueprints until step 14.
Here are the blueprints.
So I would take a blueprint, not a head.
Yeah.
So we'll take this one.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a board game convention.
I took the wine tasting. I didn't even look at the name. I just took because the people on the side.
I didn't look at the people. I just looked at the name.
After players have taken blueprints, slide the remaining blueprints to the bottommost available space, then refill from bottom to top. Boom. Have them right here.
Yep.
It says then refill from bottom to top. And we'll make sure these are all shuffled when we actually play.
Reason for that is like a lot of games we've played, there's a cost. So as you can see here, this costs a reputation and 1 credit, reputation 2 credits, reputation 3 credits. So as you add new ones, they're going to start more expensive until they work their way down.
Okay. So key concept. So the network, which is in the middle here, says the network is the area on the main board comprising the 6 locations and the connections between them. Okay. You want your turn structure?
Sure.
So now we're just going over the turn structure. So that is set up while you do that. I'm going to continue setting my people up here.
I'm going to Move my money off the board. One second. Put this back in the tray. Move that there. Okay. I don't knock it all over the place. So turn structure. Galactic Cruise is played over a variable number of rounds. Starting with the first player, each player...
Just pull out the big one so they can see everything.
Each player will take a turn, followed by the next player in clockwise order. Play continues until the game end is triggered. On your turn, you will do 3 things. Number 1, you will advance your ships. Number 2, you will assign a worker, or you will launch a ship, or you will call a meeting. And then number 3, accomplish the company goal. Each player will usually get about 20 turns in this game. Nick and I will find a way to not make it 20.
Yeah, I'll make it more.
Or like 4 somehow.
What? No idea.
I don't know. I don't know how this works yet, so there's a number. So, step 1. Advance a ship. So by advancing a ship throughout the game, you'll be launching ships that will advance you to different stops until they return back to Earth. If, at the start of your turn, you have a ship in space, it will automatically advance to its next stop, where you may gain bonuses, unlock upgrades, and or score points.
Cool.
Step 2 of turn structure is assign a worker. So assigning a worker, the majority of your turns will be spent assigning workers to one of the 6 locations in the network. So these are those 6 central locations. In these locations, you'll be able to construct ships, schedule cruises, gather resources, and other things. Another option for step 2 is launching a ship. When you've completed the steps in your pre-flight checklist, you're ready to launch. Instead of assigning a worker to take actions, you'll be sending a worker from your break room into the launch elevator to initiate the launch countdown sequence. Your last option is to call a meeting. If you're out of workers, call a meeting to recall your workers from the network to place them back in your break room. Then take one action at a location that has at least one development connected to it. So, again, very similar to other games we've played on this channel where you're putting workers out, doing stuff, and then you're bringing them back, recycling, and going again. And then the final thing is accomplish the company goal. On the final step of your turn, check to see if you've accomplished one of the 3 company goals. Those are where those orange little arrows are at the bottom corner. These are goals that have been tasks that you've been tasked with. They may increase in difficulty as other players accomplish them.
So boop. Got it.
Yeah. So there's a few key concepts here. Number 1 is worker bumping. While assigning your worker, you may place it on an empty location or location with another worker. If the location contains another player's worker, that worker is bumped, meaning removed from the location and returned to that player's break room. The player whose worker is bumped immediately gains a funding bonus, which we'll find out what that means shortly. You cannot bump your own worker.
Okay.
So you can't just like hip check your own person out of the break or out of the...
Just to get funding bonuses.
Yeah. Hey, funding bonus. A funding bonus is gained anytime a worker is bumped.
Hey, we just learned that.
And when a worker is placed in the break room. So there are probably other things like recalling that you can place in break room. So anytime a player goes, or worker goes to break room, you get a funding bonus. There are 4 different funding bonus options shown in the top area of the launch tower in your player board. See example to the right. Right. So those funding bonuses are the 4 brown.
Okay.
Listed there. So blue would have the ability to choose from. Is it blue? So you can gain 1 money. You can gain 1 ad, gain 1 VP, gain 1 resource.
Okay, easy enough.
So when gaining a funding bonus, you choose one of those available options. You might gain more than 1 at the same time. When this occurs, you may choose the same bonus more than once. Action selection. After placing a worker on a location, you may take up to 2 actions with that worker, choosing from all the actions the worker has access to. Okay. So you can see each of these have a top and a bottom, so you can do both actions. The worker always has access to 2 actions at the location.
Oh, and they would literally go like in their little spot right there.
Yeah. If there's at least 1 development adjacent, so either side, so all of these have 2 adjacent sides,
nice.
The worker may also access the actions at that location. Your worker may use your developments for free, or if you do not own one, you may pay to use another player's development, which you'll pay reputation. In order to do so, you must pay money to every other player that has a development in that area. So this is only if you don't. So if Nick and I both have a development here, it seems like that's free. But if you want to pay to use someone else's development to go ahead, you have to pay them.
Oh, interesting. So if I put my person here, I can do these actions also because I have this here.
Yes, but you can only take 2 actions total.
Right, but still I have a choice of 4
Yeah.
that I could potentially do. Oh, okay. So just looking at this like math-wise, so you have 9 development gears. There's 10 spaces to potentially put those.
Yes.
So that means you're always going to be short 1.
Yep. So to do this, you pay money to every other player that has a development. The amount paid is based on your reputation. So the more reputation you have on that reputation turn on the bottom, the cheaper it is.
Okay, and that's if you don't have. Like,
Correct.
so if I was here and you want to do this, I'd have to pay you based on reputation. Okay.
Once per turn, at any time, you may use your reputation to gain 1 bonus type depicted below the reputation track. To do this, reduce your reputation as far as you would like in order to gain all bonuses of 1 type you pass over.
Wow.
So if you want to gain just credits, and let's say you're at the 15 spot.
Right here, there's a 1 credit right there. So I can go back to the 1 credit. If I wanted credit and if I wanted the resource, I go back.
No, bonuses of 1 type. So I'm assuming like if you're here and you want to get 2 credits, you'd have to go all the way back to cover both credits.
Oh, really? It means you only get 1?
I don't know. Example given.
Ah, perfect.
So example given. Yellow has 6 reputation, which isn't quite enough to reach the next threshold. So yellow would need to pay both. Wait. Did I get to that?
Wrong one.
That's it. Yeah. Hold on. Oh yeah, there's the picture. Got it. So you can do this once per turn. It is the same exact pictures. So it shows here that if this person was at 7 and they went to 3, they would get 2 ads because they wanted ads. They would not get the 2 middle ones.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So you're
1 specific type.
You're picking the type.
Got it.
So like 12 to 9 is nice. That's a nice easy 2 credits. But some of the rest have a big gap.
Yep. Interesting.
All right. So next up is the first thing in turn structure, advanced ship. And we go to worker assignment, which I should still work well because then you can place workers.
Okay. Advanced your ships. I recommend skipping this section for now. Come back after you've learned how to launch a ship.
Does it really say that?
Yeah, it does.
Hilarious.
All right, so flavor text. Every cruise has an exciting itinerary to follow. Our guests will get to experience our state-of-the-art galactic destinations and resorts, and they'll also have ample opportunities to enjoy the many amenities aboard the ship as you navigate them from destination to destination. So step 1 for advancing a ship. So step 1 of your turn is advance ships. Before placing or recalling workers in step 2, if you have a ship on a cruise, advance it to the next stop by moving the pilot, your worker piloting the ship, 1 space forward on the cruise. If you have more than 1 ship in space at the same time, you may advance ships in any order, completing each stop fully before moving to the next. Okay, so just looking here. Actually, you know what? Where is launching a ship?
Well, that's your second action. Should be 2B. It'll be the blue. Next one. It's like the B section.
Gotcha.
Because you had assign a worker, and then another one should say.
Build and hire, purchase supplies.
One of these should
acquire blueprints, segments.
These are all that's what all these are.
Yep. Acquire new ship, refill storage, schedule a cruise, advertise for a cruise.
Keep going.
Draw agenda. Blah 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 blah. Launching a ship. So let's go over how to launch a ship, and then we'll double back and read advanced ships. I think it's gonna make more sense at that point.
Yeah, sometimes Zoe's right.
I don't know why you wouldn't just organize it that way. Anyway, launch a ship. On step 2 of your turn, one of the options for placing a worker is to launch a ship. So just a reminder. So step 1 is advancing a ship. Step 2 would be launching, but it'll make more sense.
You have to launch a ship to advance it the next turn.
Yeah, so on step 2 of your turn, one of the options for placing a worker is to launch a ship. To initiate a launch, place a worker from your break room into the bottom of the launch elevator on your player board. Launching a ship is your full turn, and you do not take any actions on the main board. So the elevator, again, is that blue section on your board. So, boom, 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 boom. This
Yep.
elevator here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is an elevator section there. So before launch, you'll make sure you're prepared. Here's a pre-flight checklist of everything you'll need, which is also on the back of the player aid, which I thought was said perfect checklist. But it's this pre-flight checklist, which is great. So you will need a cruise scheduled. So that is one of these tokens over here. You will need scheduled.
Which is one of the other things you can do in the second part of your turn.
Mm-hmm. You will need an available ship plus with one or more cabins. So these cabins are the middle sections.
Yep.
You will need access to resources to launch. Okay. Guest pre-sold or last-minute sale. So you need guests for your ship. There are 6 steps to launching, and they are listed on your player board. They represent a 5-second countdown starting at 5 and ending at 0. Your worker will ride the elevator up to the top, and you'll perform all steps along the way as your whole turn. So on the player boards, you have that elevator. There is an action listed next to each. So your entire turn is consistent of going up this launch board. So number 5, which starts at the bottom, T-minus 5, assign and board. Choose which of your ships with at least one cabin and not already on a cruise you would like to launch. Take your scheduled cruise and place it above that ship. Okay. So the scheduled cruise goes literally right above your ship.
Yep.
It would go at the very top of this whole section.
And the picture shows that on your number 5 on the player board.
Mm-hmm. What? Yep, sure does. Boop, right at the top.
Yep.
Good deal. It says return your cruise consultant to its office on the marketing board. Boom. So they would have most likely been on the section where that travel destination was acquired. Then place your guests into the cabin or cabins. You must take at least one guest. Each cabin can hold a maximum of one guest, and it does not matter which guest goes in which cabin. The guest can come from 3 areas. Next to the cruise being launched, these guests have been pre-sold the tickets during an advertise for a cruise action and are free to board. Okay, so those guys next to the cruise being sold, I guess they would be. Those are the ones next to the cruise being sold.
Assuming so.
Or is it our thing over here? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
It'll tell us when we get to that point later on. We'll look at the example in a moment here. The queue. So these guests will buy their tickets in a last-minute sale. They must pay the guest's ad cost, but you do not gain any money or reputation. Oh, so this must be the queue because it's an ad cost.
Ah, yes, that makes sense.
Okay. The supply. So during the last-minute sale, guests may also be taken from the supply, paying the usual 4 ads. You do not gain money or reputation. So if you don't have enough room, so if guests have been pre-sold a ticket, but you do not have enough room or do not want to take them, lose 2 reputation and move the guest to the top 3 ad section of the queue. Okay, yes, that's the queue.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. So we have an example over here for 5. So pick ticket schedule cruise, place it above the ship. Yep. They have 1 family guest in the pre-sold ticket area. So where's the family? Okay.
That is the bluish.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it shows clear enough. Okay, so pre-sold tickets are right here. So these are pre-solds. Pre-sold area, so if you have guests here, those are the ones that you can just take on your cruise because they were already sold on your cruise. So there's 2 spots available there. Then this is the queue.
Yep.
And then the supply, which is over there, you can buy from at any point in time, but it costs you 4 ads instead of 3, 2, 1, or
which
the free
shows
position.
right here.
Yep. Cool. Easy enough. All right. Number 4, which is the next step up that elevator track. Take a progress cube from your supply, place it on the next available space on the progress track, which are these guys that are there, which is going to be explained in further detail on page 31. So we'll get there. But easy enough. Take a cube, place it in the next available progress track. It looks like it goes bottom to top, left to right. So easy peasy. Number 3, pay resources. So pay the needed resource in order to launch. Food, oxygen, and fuel. So for food, it's 1 food per guest in the ship, plus 1 for your pilot. Oxygen, 1 oxygen per segment in the ship. Fuel, 1 fuel per fuel icon listed on the cruise tile. Cool. So you have to build your ship keeping your resources in mind to launch.
So that would cost, that ship right there would cost them 4 fuel. That's on the top tile right there.
Well, so we have to actually build this top one, I believe.
No, so your top tile right there, that's what shows your fuel right there.
Oh, for that one, yeah.
So that's your fuel cost for the whole thing. So it's going to be 4 for that cruise to go. But let's say you have that in there. That would be your segments. So you would have multiple segments in the ship. That would be your oxygen count.
So 1.
And then how many guests you have.
Per segment might also include...
Top and bottom? No, it's just the middle.
The bottom, so T minus 3.
I think it's just the middles.
So let's see here. So calculate their score. So they need 3 food because they have 2 guests plus 1 for the pilot. They need 3 oxygen because they have 3
cabins.
It just says segments. 1, 2. Nope, you guess so it's the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cabins.
Cool. Yep. And then the 4 fuel, which is indicated at the top of there. Cool. Easy enough. All right. So the resources can come from 3 different sources. 1, your player board, and or 2, agenda cards, and or spending reputation. So on agenda cards, you'll have a way to get resources, which I believe are the bottom left-hand corner. And you have, of course, your player board. And then, like I said beforehand, you can reduce your reputation to gain resources from the board.
Yep.
The resource cost can be paid for in any order and can come from any combination of those sources. You do not need to have space on your player board to accommodate resources coming from the agenda cards or reputation. It's good to know. All right, T-2, score cockpit. Score VP based on the criteria listed on the cockpit of the ship you are launching. See page 4 of the employee handbook for a list of all cockpit scoring criteria. Then, if this is the first time you have launched a particular ship, flip the cockpit over to remove the -5 listed at the top. The -5 is subtracted from the cockpit's scoring at the end of the game if you have not launched the ship at least once during the game.
Yep, so the base tile that's right in front of you there.
Yep.
That is, you get 1 VP, so -5 on the back, but 1 VP per section of the cabin. Boop. So you would have 1, so you'd have -4 right now.
This one says +3 for wine tasting. Cool. Remember, so score in the cockpit. Done dealio. And T-1, load up. Remove the upgrade token that was flipped when your cruise was scheduled and place it into the engine ship that is being launched. So one of the actions scheduling your ship must have you flipping one of your upgrade tokens in your stacks that are over here.
Yep, put it on the square on the bottom there.
Yep, there's a little square space on the bottom of your ship. And T-0, liftoff. Place your worker, which is now becoming the pilot, into the cockpit and add a new cruise to the market board, which is this area over there, market board, new cruise. Okay. Add new cruise. Take a new cruise from the market tray and place it face up on the empty space of the market board. Then for each destination on the new cruise, move all matching guests in the queue down 1 section. If they are already in the bottom section, they do not move. So it says for each destination on the new cruise, move all of them down. Okay, so there's individual. Okay, so this one has 2 destinations. 1, 2. Looks like. Remember just down 1. Then move all pink guests based on the cruise tile. Pink guests, relaxing guests. Interesting. 1. Then for each destination on the cruise ship, move all matching guests in the queue down 1 section. If they are already in the bottom section, they do not move.
Just makes it cheaper ad-wise for future cruises.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see how they, do they count this as the destination, or are they both?
Or 1. Yeah.
So is that a 1 destination spot? So Pink places a new cruise tile in an empty space in the marketing board. Pink moves all family and relaxing guests down 1 section. Okay. Moves all down 1 section. Now, Pink adds a new guest based on the cruise tile. They add the family guest, relaxing guest, add their guest. Okay, so they don't all go down the 2.
I'm assuming when you take the cruise, it's going to give us more information. When you do the schedule cruise action.
Yeah, I was going to see, because on here, the tile they use has like 2 of these little spots on them. So I was curious if that. Relaxing guest down 1 section. Interesting.
So it might be however many guests you have shown, because like the one you just took has 2 guest markers versus like these only have 1 guest marker. So it might be that.
Oh, maybe it's that. Yeah. Because there's only 1 of each of those. Got it. So they've moved them all down 1 based on that. Okay. That makes more sense. Cool. Lastly, add a number of new guests from the supply to the top section of the queue equal to the number of guests that are aboard the cruise that was launched this turn. This type of guests are based on the new cruise that was added in the marketing board. But add a number of new guests from the supply to the top section of the queue equal to the number of guests that boarded the cruise that was just launched this turn. Okay, so the number is that. The type of guests added are based on the new cruise that was added to the marketing board. Okay. Add a matching guest per destination on the cruise, starting with the leftmost destination, moving right, repeating if necessary.
Yep, so that is the count. Yeah.
Okay. Guests are limited. If there's a type needed and not available, add a different guest of your choice.
Okay.
All right. So that was launching the ship. There was something here from Zoe. Learning about launching a ship, be sure to go back and read advancing ships. A maximum of 2 guests per cruise can be pre-sold tickets. Anything above 2 must come from the last minute sale. Got it. Okay. All right. Advancing ships. So step 1 is advancing ships if you launched previously on a different turn. So before placing / recalling workers in step 2, if you have a ship on a cruise, advance it to the next stop by moving the pilot, so the worker piloting the ship, 1 space forward on the cruise.
Yeah.
So the thing here.
Yeah. So your pilot would start at the beginning. So there's always, I think, that symbol first.
No, it's not always there first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's some where it has the marker first. Anyway,
so
that's where it would start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. These are the destinations for those people.
Because it looks like here, if you look at like this, connected, it's like, oh, you're traveling.
Yep.
And then you're coming back.
Exactly. All right, so you're moving 1 space forward on that cruise. If you have more than 1 ship in space at the same time, you may advance the ships in any order, completing each stop fully before moving to the next. There are 3 types of stops. Destinations, which are, there we go, the colored people. Day in space, which is the like space-looking one. It's like when you're on a cruise ship, it's just like a day in the ocean. There you go. And return to Earth, which is the last spot, which is at the top of your head tile. Destination. When your pilot lands on a destination, you may choose an upgrade and or score guests. Excuse me. Upgrades at the top of your player board, or based on player type, so choosing an upgrade. If you have an upgrade token on the engine, you may place it onto one of the upgrades on the destination your pilot is currently on, unlocking that specific upgrade.
That makes sense. Okay.
See page 7 of your employee handbook for the list of upgrades. If there's another destination on the same cruise, you may wait until you arrive at that destination to drop off the upgrade token.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so you choose where to put it. You cannot have more than 3 upgrade tokens on a single destination. If a destination already has 3 upgrade tokens on it, you don't have another destination on the cruise, discard the upgrade token instead of placing it.
Yep.
Cool. Score the guests. You may score each guest on board your ship once per destination by paying the guest's associated ad cost. If the destination matches the guest, you pay 1 ad to score that guest. If the destination does not match, you may pay 2 ads to score the guest. Any number of guests on board the ship may be scored, but each guest may only be scored once per destination. The amount of VP each guest scores is equal to 3 VP plus 1 for each upgrade token on that destination. So,
it's right there, yeah.
That gives you plus 1 for each, which makes sense because when you get the upgrade, you put it with the plus 1 side up, I would assume. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And of course, it goes over examples on the right side of the page. That one's pretty self-explanatory, though. So then day in space. So when you go to destination, you can choose to do one or both of those actions, choosing an upgrade or scoring guests. Day in space. When a pilot lands on a day in space, you will gain bonuses based on the guest and their matching segment icon. For each guest, gain their bonus listed above the market board for each matching icon in the ship. Cool. So icons in the ship. Are we on?
Yep.
Is right there. Boom, boom. Matching icons. The name is color coded to those icons as well. All right. So in the setup, picture above, which should just give you a picture here. Each adventurous guest will give you 1 money. So here is what they're going over. So the adventurous guest will give you that bonus. Each of the relaxing guests will give you that bonus. Each of the family will give you a reputation bonus. Zoe says, don't forget, the bonus tokens are placed randomly during setup, so the guests will reward you differently each game. Yes, yep. That's fine. And then returning to Earth. When a pilot lands on the last stop of a cruise, the ship, the guest, and the worker return to Earth. Place your worker back into the break room, gaining 1 funding bonus as usual. Then discard the cruise to a face-down stack next to the marketing tray, and return all guests from the ship to the supply. Once a ship is returned, it may be launched again, or more segments may be built into it, following normal building restrictions. Once ship is returned, it may be launched again. Interesting. So it just said discard the cruise. The cruise.
Yeah.
I keep mixing up the cruise and the ship. Okay. And then assigning worker actions.
All right.
There we go. So that was a lot. So just to recap everything we just read there, step 1 is advancing your cruise. So moving your worker on the cruise 1 space over and choosing to do the scoring for the people on your cruise or doing the upgrade that's there. Then after that is when you would go into potentially launching a ship if you haven't done so already, or even if you have done so, because you can have multiple ships out. So that's where you would launch a ship in step 2. So we read it backwards so it would make more sense, like it told us to, which thankfully we did, because that would have been really kind of confusing if we didn't do that.
All right. So other than launching a ship, when you're on step 2, you can assign a worker. So we have all of these things across the board that all give you different benefits. So we're going to go through those.
All right.
So assigning a worker. Take one of your workers from the break room.
Okay.
And place it in one of the 6 network locations. Then take up to the 2 actions you have access to. You must always complete all steps of an action before moving on to the second action.
Okay.
So the first we're going to do is build a development. That is right here. This action allows you to build 1 development. So choose one of the leftmost developments from your resource tray. Pay the cost listed at the bottom of the column.
So at the bottom of the column, there's a symbol that has the same as the gear with the wrench. And it says minus credits or resources equal to, it says number times 5. So
5 credits.
Yep.
Or resources.
Yep.
For that cost, it can be paid in a combination if you choose.
Cool.
So 5, and then as you can see, it goes to 6 and 7, so it gets a little bit more difficult as you unlock further and further.
Cool.
After paying, remove the development from your player board, place it on the network, anywhere, or below a technology. If this is the first development placed, gain the reputation.
Boom. Boom.
You may never build a development in an area you already have a development.
Right
So
here.
you can't just double up, which wouldn't make sense anyway.
Correct.
Removing a development also increases the amount of the associated resource that can be stored on your player board by 1.
Nice.
So as you can see, as you go up that track, now you have more availability for those resources.
Which also looks like it's going to be more victory points.
Oh, yeah, looks like it. Network developments give you more access to different actions. You may use your developments immediately after building them. So again, that's the point here. So if...
Nice. So if I built this one here.
Yep. So if you did this action here, that was action 1. You built that. You now have 3 actions to choose from for action number 2.
Combo it.
Yep. Love that. Technology up top immediately gives you the ongoing benefits. The first time a development is placed below technology, that technology is considered invented.
Nice.
That means the technology can now be used by all players.
Ooh, interesting. So you get to use it immediately, but you also are unlocking that benefit for everyone else.
Yes, and it is free for anyone who has a development here, similar to down below. it is a cost if you don't have development, but you get access to it.
Pay me to use my shit.
Yep. So again, this is the intro side, but just like right here, we have all launched require one fewer fuel.
Require one fewer blood.
Yes. So anyone who has a development here, so let's say Nick has his development here. I'm launching a ship. I can do this. It's going to cost you one less fuel, but I'm going to have to pay Nick in a specific way, which is going to tell me right here what I have to pay.
In a specific way.
But if you have a bunch of credits and not much fuel, it can work out.
Yep.
So give us an example here. So Pink is building the development. They want to build the second development from their food row. They pay the cost. So again, you pay the cost of the sticks because they're moving the second one. They paid 1 food, 5 money. No problem. It does not tell us right here what the cost is. I'm assuming we'll get to that later. Cool. So the second thing in the same area right here is hire an expert worker. So expert workers are the two tall ones on your player board. This allows you to hire one of them, pay the cost associated with the expert you are hiring.
So I have -3.
Yep.
Looks like it says per
unlock.
Something. They'll probably tell us on there.
Yep. We'll try to do it. So the one that Nick was just referring to, which I'll zoom into your board there. So that one there, the cost is 3 money per upgrade token remaining, whether it's face up or flipped, in the bottom 4 spots only.
Okay.
So any upgrade, so that means if you've taken cruises before and you've utilized those upgrades and moved them to the top of your game board, it's cheaper to bring that expert worker out.
Well, right now, if I tried to do it, it would cost me 12 credits.
Yes. The other expert worker on the other side of your board, the cost associated there is 2 money per development remaining in the food or oxygen rows. So the first
and on this.
Food and.
Yeah.
So those 2 rows per development still remaining times 2 for credits each.
Yeah, so it'd be 8 total.
Yeah.
Credits for that one.
Expert workers function just like any other worker, except they gain a special ability. Each game, there's an expert worker ability assigned during setup. That is right here. So we have a stack of expert worker abilities.
This is the one that's preloaded.
Yep. So we have a stack here. Knock some shit over. But there's a preset one right there in the middle of the game board. So for this one specifically, it says gain a funding bonus when your expert bumps a worker.
Oh, so you also gain a funding bonus.
Yes.
In addition to the person who got bumped.
Yes. So that's fun. But that's only if an expert's the one doing it, not if a normal worker's doing it.
Yep.
So now we're going to kind of rotate around this board. So right here, this one, super simple. Purchase supplies. You're able to purchase supplies and or ads, as you can see here. Cost 1 money, 2 supplies.
Nice.
1 money, 2 ads.
Nice.
That simple. You can do one or both as your single action. So if you want to pay 2 coin credits, you can do both.
Nice.
Any resource you purchase but do not have room to store,
Lost.
gone.
Yep.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Right above that, acquire blueprints.
Mm.
This allows you to take up to 2 blueprint tiles.
Mm.
You may choose any of the face-up blueprint tiles in display that Nick just referenced. There is no cost associated to this. At the end of an action, slide all remaining blueprints down, fill the empty spaces, and add new ones, as we demonstrated at the beginning of the game. You can hold a maximum of 5 beside your player board, and that is the 5 indicators on the side of your player board. Little notches right there.
Very Kanban EV-ish.
Yes. As soon as you exceed the limit, you must discard down to 5 at the end of the round.
Okay.
At any time, you may spend a reputation to discard any number of blueprints from the display. Refill the empty ones from the tray. Do not slide the remaining down. No action is required, so it's a bonus action you can do.
It shows right up here, too. 1 reputation to swap out.
Yep. And you may repeat this every time, paying 1 reputation each time. So that's good. So if you wanted the bottom one, but you didn't want, let's say you want this person, you can just get rid of this singular one. A new one will come down in this exact space, and then you can buy that one or pay another reputation and swap it again. So that's good. So if you're specifically looking for orange, that might be a cheaper way to get there.
Yep.
When you discard blueprints, they are placed next to the blueprint tray. If you ever run out, then you would shuffle the discard back in.
Makes sense.
Yep, similar to that. So blueprint layout. So we're going to zoom into you right there because you have a blueprint in front of you.
Right here.
So the blueprint.
You see it? Yep.
Yep. Information on the blueprint. Dead center. It's the name.
Wine tasting.
So that's the name of the ship segment. On the left-hand side, there's a little wrench. That is telling you the build cost directly under it. That's the cost to build the segment into your ship.
So this one says -5 credits, so it would cost me 5 credits.
Yep. Directly under that is the VP icon. You do not score this one built. That would obviously be scored after launching, as we discussed earlier. At the bottom center, it'll be your cabin. So you can see half a body person right there.
Yep.
If you attach it to your ship, that'll complete the body person because you have the other half on the top of that tile.
Yep.
Nope. On the other. Oh, sure, on that side because you're flipping it. True.
Well, it's if there was another one that was on here.
Yeah. So when 2 segments specifically, so 2 cabin pieces are built, they perform. Or sorry, when 2 segments are combined, they provide a cabin, which is the person in the middle. That means it can hold 1 guest. So you cannot hold a guest if you do not have a cabin. It looks like.
So that's what cabin means then.
Yes.
When they were talking earlier, so you need at least 2 segments to be able to hold a guest.
Those don't have it.
No, they don't.
That makes sense. And then on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side, sorry, is the type of guest who will enjoy the ship segment during a day in space.
Yep.
So we have the different types right there. All right.
Cool.
Moving along down to there. On the bottom of this section, you have build ship segments. This allows you to build up to 2 ship segments. The other side of the blueprint is a segment. The blueprint becomes a segment when it is built into the ship and flipped over. So they can be built from 2 areas. You can take it from the side of your player board, pay the cost as listed, so in that case 5, or the blueprint displayed on the main board. You may pay the listed cost right there on the blueprint and the additional cost here. So you pay the blueprint cost and whatever's listed here, which makes sense. Cost can be reduced to 0, but never under 0. Using certain technologies or agenda cards or other things.
Interesting.
So like this, segments cost 1 fewer to build. So you can get rid of certain costs. Reminder, the VP of the segments is scored at the end of the game. Right?
So you don't score it during when it takes off.
No. Oh, that was the other thing.
Just the head.
That was, yeah.
Spilled beer myself.
Nice. Solid. Building restrictions. A segment must be built into a ship. Don't know where else to try to build it. Each ship can contain a max of 3 segments.
Okay.
So that's why you can have the max of the 2 guests, I guess. That makes sense. Or by 2, okay. You may not build segments into ships that are currently in space. I want to know who tried it. They're like, yo, that ship's way out there, but we're going to add a wine tasting into it. Just from down here, just launch a wine. And then once a segment is built, it cannot be moved or replaced.
Interesting. So they must be able to have more. So if you can only have a max of 3, it said?
Oh, yeah, per ship.
But you can have more than 2 guests.
Maybe you guys can share a cabin because that's what's coming next.
Gotcha.
The top and bottom make a cabin. When 2 segments are built, a complete cabin which can hold 1 guest during the cruise. Each segment added after the first will add 1 additional cabin. Okay. At the end of the action, if segments were built directly from blueprints, refresh the blueprints. It does not say anything else about that.
We'll double check that. We'll keep going.
Yeah. Might come into it. All right. So back on the game board here, the other action where Nick is located right here, that is acquire a new ship. You can have up to 3 ships. So this allows you to take a new cockpit and a new engine set. Choose 1 paired cockpit and engine set from the display and place it next to your ship. So you'll just make a stack. Yep. At the, immediately gain the bonus printed on the engine, then flip it over. Keep the cockpit on the -5 side. So right here, you can see on the engine bottom here, there's like 2 hands, whatever that symbol means. You automatically get that, then flip that over. For the top, you would leave it on the -5 side. At the end of an action, refill any spaces that were emptied here. Make sure cockpits are always placed with the -5 sign face up. Okay, that's pretty straightforward.
So essentially, so you can buy a bunch of ships, but if you don't launch them by end of game and they're still on this -5 side, then you lose points.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Moving over to the far side. Don't know why it's doing that, but it is. That is gain resources. So on the top one there, gain allows you to take up to 3 resources from the storage silo, which is right next to it over there. So reduce the level of each chosen resource by 1. You can only take resources that you can store, obviously.
Cool.
On the bottom of that action set is refill the storage silo. This action allows you to refill 1 resource in the storage silo and gain money and reputation. Discard 1 agenda card from your hand to increase 1 chosen resource to its maximum by moving it to 5. Then gain 1 money from the supply for each step it was raised. Additionally, gain a reputation.
Okay, so going from 2 to 5, you're passing 1, 2, 3, went up by 3 steps, so you get 3 money.
1 reputation, but you had to discard an agenda card to do so.
Might be valuable to do so.
So
you don't think you'll be able to do the agenda?
Exactly.
Need the money?
All right, now back to the middle section. Boop. Middle top, you have your little cruise consultant. You're scheduling your cruise. So this action allows you to schedule a cruise. You may only have 1 cruise scheduled at a time. You may not switch cruises once they've been scheduled. So you take your cruise consultant, so the dude that's over here, and place it beside a cruise that does not have someone already on it. Then choose 1 upgrade token that's in your launch tower, gain the bonus printed on it, and flip it over. But leave it as it is, like where it is.
Yeah.
So you just get the bonus, flip it.
Yep, so 1 of the 4.
Yep. When a funding bonus upgrade token is flipped, it can no longer be chosen as a funding bonus.
So again, funding bonuses are the ones that have the hands underneath them, so the brown ones. The other bonuses are the gray ones at the bottom. So whenever you return somebody to your break room, you get a funding bonus if available. So 1 of the hand symboled ones. You do not get 1 of the gray ones on the bottom.
Correct. But at the bottom of those, so if you were to pick up 1 of the top 4, you get more underneath. So once that tile is gone and completely moved from the space, so by sending a ship out and you putting it over there and everything, then
you have more.
You get more abilities.
Yep.
All right. The bottom section here is advertising for a cruise. This action allows you to choose 1 cruise that has 1 or 2 empty guest spaces and advertise for it. So you're trying to fill your cruise ship.
Nice.
The cruise may be unscheduled or scheduled. You may not advertise a scheduled cruise from another player.
That makes sense.
So this is now these 2 spaces here. Under each of these, you may advertise 1 or 2 guests. Choose guests from the queue. Pay the ad cost. Or you may choose to pay 4 ad for any one of your choice. Place the guest in the spaces. So I can pay 1 ad cost for that orange down there, and you can place it wherever. I cannot place it where Nick is. I can place it in any of the other 3.
But I could place it where I am.
Correct. You can place it anywhere, yeah. For each guest placed, as it shows next to it on the left-hand side there, gain 1 money that per destination on that cruise tile. So 1, 1, 1, and 2. And 1 reputation if the cruise includes the guest preferred destination. So if you put purple here, you would gain 2 money and 1 reputation because purple is there.
So this also means if you put 2 purple here, that you would get 2
for
reputation,
each one.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Because
you
for
money and
each
2
guest placed,
Yep.
you'll go through those steps.
Cool. So the max you'll only ever be able to get on those is 2 money and 2 reputation, potentially. Because you only place 2 people.
But we don't know if there's maybe 3 spots. I have no idea how many max
Oh, so it
spots.
said per spot.
Per destination spot.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, 'cause
so
these don't
if you-
be 1.
so if you had 2 purple destinations and you had 2 purple people there, then you could get potentially 4 reputation.
Yeah. See, I don't know what all the variability is for all those. And then we go to the last space up here. Last space here is agenda cards. So the very top, draw 2.
Nice.
So you draw 2 agenda cards. At any time you draw agenda cards, you may draw from the cards in the display. So that is over here. So we have
nice.
4 in the display.
Another market.
Or you may spend 1 reputation to draw from the top of the discard pile, which is right here. Agenda cards in the discard pile are public information. They may be examined at any time. They may not be reordered, which makes sense. Agenda cards are not refilled automatically, so that'll clarify later, but this will just keep going. And then soon this, like if you take this one, it's not automatically refilled like the blueprints are. When you have agenda cards, you may play them either for their text ability, which is whatever it says here, or their resource. So obviously, as we talked about earlier, when you have to pay resources, you can pay from your resource tray, you can pay from the reputation track, you can pay using agenda cards. If you want to play multiple agenda cards, you can do so. You do follow any restrictions on the cards. They will always compound with other benefits. Cost can be reduced to 0, but not below 0. Any number of agenda cards can be discarded for their resource at the same time. If the resources are being spent immediately, such as when paying for development or launching a ship, you do not have to worry about the room that you have available. If they're just being spent to gain the resource, you do have to worry about the room. There's no limit to the number of cards that can be held or played in a single turn. At the end of your turn, you can only have 5 agenda cards. So you can gain like 12 in one shot, but you got to spend 7 of them. It does say that agenda cards do supersede normal rules as well. So if a rule says something, agenda card says something else, follow the agenda card.
It has a little bit reminder on your player board too. It says agenda times 5.
Yep.
Bottom, right?
Last action right here. Refill the agenda cards.
Nice.
And allows you to gain bonuses. First, you will gain any bonuses associated with the empty card space in the display. So if we go here,
nice. You
gain a reputation. It shows the little symbol, matches, boom, boom, gain it, whatever it is for each of the 4 of these. And it looks like it shows it right there as well.
It does.
Then you will discard all remaining agenda cards that are sitting there. Refill from bottom to top 4 new cards. Anytime you need to draw, go to the agenda card deck. Only once it's empty, reshuffle the discard deck. Okay.
Back to launching a ship.
Yep. So I'll just do a quick recap here. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Closing the book.
So quick recap. Very simple. These are agenda cards. So gaining new agenda cards, refilling the agenda cards available over here. You can pay reputation to take off of the discard, but only on top, and that's displayed right here.
Yep.
This here is that building development. So clearing out your space for more resources and being able to extend. This here is getting that expert. So paying the cost to bring the expert out. If the expert has, again, we'll have this bonus, whatever's here. So if it does whatever's here, you gain that bonus. Over here, buy resources. So buy ads, buy resources, spending each. You can do both in the same action. Up here, buy 2 blueprints. Up to 2 blueprints. You don't have to buy 2, you can buy 1. Take 2.
I'd say take 2.
Yeah, but you can only store 5 on your player board. Here is getting, the ship segments. So that is actually taking the blueprint, making it into a segment by paying the cost. This is getting more ship pieces, so choosing a matching pair of 2 from over here. You gain the bonus on the bottom. You do not gain anything on top. It stays on the -5 side, and you can have a max of 3 ships.
And for this one, it's the ones you have on the side of your board, or again, you can directly build from this board, just that you have to pay the additional cost of this on the side, paired with what's on there.
Yep. And at any time with any of these things that have the cost, you can use agenda cards and anything to help reduce those costs.
Yeah.
These are taking care of cruises. So actually scheduling your cruise, moving your person, boom, onto one of the cruises, or doing the guest thing. So that's these 2 spaces. That's the math we just went over on how to gain all of those resources and have that guest available for that cruise. You can put it on yours or an available, untaken one by another player. So the gaps, but you cannot go on another player's spot. This here is this resource track. So taking from the resources or spending an agenda card that's unused to raise it up to the top, but that's only 1 resource. This is take 3 resources in any combination, but you must have room for it. And then the final, so up here, you can pay reputation at any point in time on your turn to take one of these out, put a new one in. So this would just go into the discard pile. You do not slide this down like you would when refilling. The last thing is this fun development. So when you have a development here, if, perfect example, let's say Nick is here and he wants to do actions over, let's say he wants to do, hey, I want 2 agenda cards and I also want to get an expert. He can take 2 agenda cards. He can pay me a cost equal to something, which we'll cover. I think we haven't gone that far. And then be able to do this.
Yep.
So there's a lot of information, but everything's pretty straightforward. It does go over here.
It's most likely this.
I think it is. Oh, it is. You are 100% right. Yeah, so the more reputation you have, the less cost. So if you're 15 or higher, you pay nothing. You just get to use it for free. If you're 7 to 14, you pay 1 credit. If you're under 7, you pay 2 credits. And I believe that is the cost for this as well. That would make sense.
Yeah, because it has like a little gear symbol and people, and then it has like a little...
Yep. Yeah, and then it's all listed here in that player aid. Just goes over the basis of all those. Last thing, just to call out since we're here. Yep. These are the technologies. Again, same thing. You can use one where someone else is there, paying the cost based on the reputation track, and utilize any of these. So if Nick was here, and I'm like, hey, I want to go buy, build some ship pieces, build some segments, it's cheaper. I'll just pay him whatever I need to pay him, and this is cheaper. So right now, that'd be dumb. But if I was sitting up here,
there you go.
That's free.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Everything costs 1 less. So that way, like these, in theory, would cost only here because you don't have to worry about the cost other than the reputation.
Yeah.
So I wonder, oh, that'd be fun. So if I'm here, my first one would be free because then that would happen after the buying, and then I would owe you 1 to do it again.
Yep.
Interesting. All right.
So like Steve. All right. So we got calling a meeting. So you may call a meeting no matter how many workers are in your break room. However, if you're at the start of step 2 of your turn, you do not have any workers in your break room, you must call a meeting. To call a meeting, first recall all your workers from the network and place them back onto your break room. So again, the network is this central area. Gaining the funding bonuses for each that you recalled as usual. After gaining your funding bonuses or bonus, you may take 1 action from a location that has at least 1 of your developments connected to it. No workers are placed for this action, and you may not pay to use other players' developments. Cool. So after doing your funding bonuses, you can take 1 action from any area that you have a development thing connected to. So like I could do either of these 4 actions here, or the technology potentially.
The technology is just available. That's just a passive effect.
Oh, true. Yeah. So anywhere right there.
Yeah.
Cool. Accomplish company goal. So each game, there are 3 different company goals as shown in the company goal tile. Boom, 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 boom. Step 3 of your turn is accomplish company goal. To accomplish a company goal, you must match or exceed the current requirement as indicated by the company goal tracker for that goal. So see page 5 of your play handbook for a list of all company goals.
Yeah, so this one here, it shows the symbol that matches the board right here. Mm-hmm. So that is your development. So this is saying right now you need 6. So if you unlock 6 developments and put them out, you'll gain that company goal. I'm assuming it's going to say move this up after someone completes it to make it harder for the next person.
Probably. So when you have accomplished one of the goals, remove your progress cube from above the goal that was accomplished and place it on the next available space on the progress track. This will reveal the wings icon of Yokala.
Yep, so I would take it from there, put it right there.
Yep, exactly. Then advance the company goal tracker for that goal one step higher. This may increase the goal's threshold for all players. If the company goal is already at its topmost position, the tracker does not move. You may only accomplish each goal once during the game. In a 4-player game, both 3rd and 4th players are allowed to accomplish the top level of a company goal. Cool.
Makes sense. So fun little thing. And again, This is the intro. So in the actual gameplay, there's a variety of different things that can happen here. So we'll have kind of a... Pretty much for this game, it's like this is the infinite replayability. There's so many...
Heavily random.
Yeah, there's so many random things between the agenda cards, between the company goals, between all of these tiles and technologies. On the other side don't exist. We have things for that. So everything available is different.
Yep.
So the way we describe these two won't necessarily be together.
Yeah.
So that's why we have all these. So these will randomly get placed out. So you could get this. That was just hilariously put. You could get these two together. Yeah. Oh, is it the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, it just fits. Yeah, so you could get these two together. So these will randomly get placed out, I'm assuming. And that's the way Nick and I will play.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because this is above our... We're like, screw it. It's going hard as possible.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is very easy to grasp and jump into, so the randomness isn't going to add any kind of complexity.
I think we played so many games that have this style.
Yeah.
Now, so it's like, okay, we understand the style. Yeah.
Yeah, the difference is this fun thing with the developments in between, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so progress track and game end. The progress track is the timer for the game. So that's this right here, right?
Makes sense.
Progress cubes are added to this track when you launch a ship or accomplish a company goal. Whenever you add a cube to the progress track, it is placed in the bottommost empty space on the track. In other words, you will fill section 1 before moving on to section 2, and so on. At the end of the turn, in which the final cube is placed in section 1 or 2, an annual general meeting occurs. See AGM, A and B progress scoring below. At the end of the turn, in which the final cube is placed in section 3, the end of the game is triggered. Okay. So the final cube is placed in 1 or 2.
Yeah, so A and B.
You schedule an AGM, and then that signals end of game.
Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. So for, so we have what, 6 cubes?
No, 12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh,
no,
right.
Because so this is just these 3. If you launch a ship, it comes out.
Right. So if I did one of these, right? It would go here. If I launched a ship, I would also place it here.
Yeah.
So I could potentially have all 3 of mine down here, and then you would be placing yours here.
Yeah, and I'm assuming this directly correlates to how many you have there because it has this symbol with a cube.
Interesting.
And whatever the wings mean. So we're gonna find that out.
I wonder if it's better to wait.
We'll find out here in a moment, probably.
All right. AGM A and B have extra steps in a 1 and 2 player game, which we'll see in a moment here in the 2 player rules. So AGM A and B, progress scoring. Each player scores VP equal to the number of progress cubes they have in the given section. Okay, so that's why I would want to literally right away tell them. Multiplied by the number of wings in their color that have been revealed.
Which the wings are down here.
Yep. Each player starts the game with 1 wings icon revealed, and additional wings icons are revealed each time they accomplish company goal.
Okay, so this counts.
Yep. Additionally, the player who has the most reputation at this moment is considered to have 1 extra cube for scoring purposes. No cube is actually added. If tied for most reputation, all tied players are considered to have 1 extra cube.
Okay.
Cool. Section 3. The end of the game is triggered when the final cube is placed in section 3. Play continues with players finishing out the current round, and then performing the final round as detailed below during this time. Additional cubes may be added to the progress track in the overflow area to the right of section 3. Is that right there? So final round. So this means finish the round. We're going into this. For the final round, before taking a final turn, each player simultaneously returns their workers from the network to the break room, gaining a funding bonus for each as usual. This is not calling a meeting, so players do not take any actions. Which means, just so when you call a meeting, as we covered a moment ago, when you do that, you pull all your people back because you've used them all. After putting them in there, getting your bonuses, you get to choose an action to take based on where you have a development. But when you're doing section 3 and you're forced to return them all, you do not get to take that development action. So then, in turn order, take 1 final turn, executing your turn as normal. Then, that's what this symbol means. Then finally, in turn order, advance all ships you have on cruises 1 final time, advancing to any 1 remaining stop on the cruise, and then people are stranded there forever and they die.
Nice.
No, that's what it says at all. It says
Mr. Martian stuck on Mars.
Advance to any 1 remaining stop on the cruise, and then complete the steps of that stop as usual. Once that is complete, it is time for the 3rd and final AGM, which would be the victory points being scored equal to the progress cubes they have in a given section, multiplied by the number of wings and their color that have been revealed. which we just went over. That's the AGM.
Yeah, and it is nice on this board. So for example, right here for A, B, and for C, it shows the little like picture equivalent to the marker here on your tracker.
Yep.
That picture, when it's brown, means in-game scoring. So you would score this as these things occur. If you see it in blue down here and other places, that'll be end-game scoring. So it is very nicely identified, like Vitalis Erta games, where you have mid-game scoring, you'll have end-game scoring that you'll gain as the game progresses.
It's crazy how clear everything becomes after like just reading a good rule book, because looking at this initially when we unboxed, I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of iconography. And then after going through this, it's like, oh, okay, that's really simple actually.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So then before we get to the two-player clarifications and stuff, there is final scoring. So AGMC, which is the final one, which is the top there. So the game is now over and it's time for the third and final annual general meeting to determine the new CEO. Each player scores the following. So starts looking at that icon at the top there. So the top, we have cockpits. So VP based on the criteria of each cockpit of your ships. You get -5 VP to a cockpit score if it hasn't been launched. So if you have any of these cockpits over in your section that haven't been launched, that -5 screws you.
Which I like that. Like you can't just buy a bunch and be like, hey, I got 3 ships, cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you need to launch them.
Strategically, like, okay, am I going to get this out? So in the beginning, it might be handy to get the 3.
Yeah, but then you're stuck.
But then you're not necessarily stuck.
You could be stuck.
You have them. You can focus on getting pieces and parts, and then launch 1, launch 2, launch 3.
Yeah.
And then they're all on their cruise at the same time, and then you just collect resources while they're out there. But it'd be expensive to launch them all too. Yeah. Anyway, so then next over to the right, developments. VP of the rightmost empty column in the development area on your player board. So on your player board, you have up here, it says 5, 15, and 30. So it seems like you don't get 90 if you have all 3 of them. It's just the furthest one unlocked.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah, so it says VP of the rightmost empty column in the development area on your player board. Let's see down here. We'll just look at the example. It says green has built every development from the first column in for 5 VP. Oh, so literally you have to have all 3 of them unlocked to get the VP at the top.
Oh, okay. So you have to have the whole column available.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you get 1, you don't get 30.
Okay.
You have to have the whole column
That
available.
makes more sense.
So that incentivizes equal progression.
Yep.
Cool. And then directly below that, we have reputation. So VP, based on the highest VP.
15.
Exactly. Next to that, we have ship segments. VP on each of the ship segments, clearly marked.
Yep. So yeah, those are stupidly simple right here. It just says 2. And it'll say it on the back. So when you buy the blueprint, you'll know going into the blueprint how much this will give you.
That's good.
So you can forecast to be like, hey, I know I'm going to get a good amount at the end of the game.
Alrighty, below that, we have progress scoring. So section 3 include all cubes in the overflow area. So that we score multiple times. So that's going to be the same as you would typically do in these 2 sections. Then lastly, supplies. So 1 VP per 3 leftover supplies in any combination. So resources, money, ads, agenda cards, and blueprints.
Yep. So unused blueprints actually
are good for you.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't like that. I wish it would be negative points that you just took a bunch of blueprints. Because like, what was it?
It's expensive to take them.
No, it's free.
Oh, free for those. Yeah.
It's free to take them. It's expensive to build them.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, because it's free to take them, I think that should be a negative. That's what inventions, right? Not inventions. Inventions, you get Yeah. No, which one do you get inventions, you get the blueprints.
Kanban.
No, inventions as well. Because you have the different things you're trying to put onto the map.
You have ideas, not blueprints.
Ideas. You get ideas before they become reality.
Yeah.
They're just sitting over here. And I think at the end of the game, it becomes negative points because you just have them sitting over there.
Maybe. I don't remember. But whatever, that's fine.
Fine. Yeah.
The player with the most VP wins and becomes the new CEO of the Galactic cruise. If there's a tie, the player with the most progress cubes on the progress track wins. If there's still a tie, the player with the most reputation wins. If there's still a tie, the player with the most VP from cockpits wins. If there's still a tie, the tied player who is later in turn order wins. So there's no ties.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
I like that. So there's always a winner.
Yep. Then Zoe down here says place your 100/turn to VP tokens on the 0 space of your VP track. If the 100 VP side is up, pass the 1 VP, flip it over to 200. So shuffle the cockpits, engine, blueprints, cruises while you put the game away to speed up setup for the next game. Makes sense. So clarifications and edge cases. Not gonna read that. But 2-player rules. Let's think it's just super quick. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We're not gonna read solo. So
Yeah.
you can do solo yourself, but it has a solo version too, which I got to do some solo gaming too.
So 2-player. So probably our first iteration playing this on stream with you guys will be 2-player. So these things will matter for us.
Yep.
And the number one thing, God, I knew this was gonna happen. I forecasted this in my head.
What?
The first step here. Take 6 developments, 2 workers, 2 expert workers. NPC. So an NPC will move around this stupid board with
Zoe.
As soon as I saw that there was like a Zoe count, I'm like, there's going to be an NPC when a 2-player game. Yep. You'll place the 2 workers on the main board, 1 in each location clockwise from the neutral developments. So there's 2 neutral developments always in the factory. So clockwise, 1 would go here, 1 would go there for these NPC characters.
Bastards.
Yeah. And they're always expert workers. So I, having a normal worker, cannot bump an expert worker. You have to have an expert worker to bump another expert worker.
I mean, the same thing with Ascendancy.
Oh, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so it's like hard, difficult.
Nemesis.
Instantly hard, difficult.
Yeah.
Place the developments and expert workers off to the side. Place the company goal tracker on the middle space instead of at the bottom. So you don't change that because there's 2 human players only. You would still keep those in the middle.
Didn't you say the bottom?
No, not the bottom.
Oh, so, not the bottom. Got
yeah. So you put it at the bottom if you had 3 or 4 players.
Oh, and it says 1 or 2 right there.
Yeah. So even though there's an NPC, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
If you're playing the intro game, only place a single neutral cube in number 2. We will not be doing that. So we'll actually have cubes in all of these in the standard game. So again, there's a whole standard game setup here, which we'll do on stream with you when we actually play through.
Sorry, I missed that. What was the difference between what they just
said? Intro game playing this side.
Oh,
this is here. A standard game there. Neutral goes in all 3.
Oh yeah. So we'll do the standard.
Yeah.
The intro.
Yeah. And then just other reminders: set aside unused technology tiles. Use both the market overlay tiles on the market board, which are
these here.
Those. Yep. Worker bumping. When placing a worker onto location by an NPC, you bump that worker to the next clockwise location. If that location is... Oh, you can. Okay. So I assumed because... Oh, no. Hold on. Throughout the game, the NPC workers will become experts. Oh, okay. This makes sense. So there are 2 normal workers go on the board. There are 2 expert workers are off the side.
Yeah.
I assume the 2 experts go right on the board.
Gotcha.
So they start as normal workers. So you can bump them. They will automatically go clockwise to the next location. If that location is empty, they stay there. If that location is occupied by an opponent, the NPC will then bump the opponent. This will cause your opponent's worker to get bumped back to their break room. So if, for example, Nick is here, NPC would be there. So we'll just act as I'm the NPC. I go here, or...
Let's choose one of these as
there
the NPC.
Go. NPC, I go here. NPC goes here. Nick gets bounced back.
Yep.
And then they would get their break room bonus thing because we're being bumped. Yep. If the location is occupied by another NPC, the NPC worker will skip and continue on to the next available location.
Makes sense because they would normally just bump them anywhere there. So
yeah, it's like a bump, but you're just moving over. If it's occupied by one of your own workers, the NPC will not bump your worker unless you have the ability to bump yourself. The NPC will skip and move to the next location.
Okay, so treat your own workers as NPCs.
Yep. So again, then expert worker bumping is a little different.
That was a smart game design because somebody like Steve, probably myself, would definitely purposely bump
my own person.
An NPC to bump my own person to get the bonus.
100%.
Yeah.
100% I would. Be like, oh, I need this resource for my second action. Okay, I'll just screw my guy off. And then...
Yep.
So, AGM, A and B, over here. So, does anyone know what that means? After the last cube is placed in the section of the progress track, you will score the section as usual. Then perform 2 extra steps, which is at the bottom of these tiles. Right there. Those steps are build NPC developments. So they would build 3 developments there and there.
Get to upgrade one of the workers.
And upgrade an NPC expert.
To an expert.
Or, yes, worker to an expert. So that's after the progress scoring, shuffle the remaining unused technology tiles, reveal 1, place down the 3. So again, you just place down the 3. Refer to the graphic on the back. If there's already a development of that color, skip the placement and discard the development. That's good for us. Hire an NPC expert. They'll just be hired closest to replace the NPC worker closest to the top middle location, going clockwise. So they're not going to return their workers. So if they had one here, it would just get flipped out for an expert, or go clockwise until you find a worker. All right, and that's literally it. So it's just adding an extra level of difficulty for human players.
So
a little bit.
So wait, so can regular workers bump experts?
No.
It's probably on this.
It's throughout the game. They put export bumpering. NPC workers function the same as NPC workers, except when bumped, they skip over empty locations.
No, not that. I mean in general. Can we? It might be right here.
Let's see. For the bumping, I would assume no. That would be dumb. Like, why would?
Well, no, it might just add. They may just be an additional worker because they don't give you any extra benefits for doing these as being an expert. It just costs a lot of money to get them.
Oh yeah, they function like another worker.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that when they're bumped, they get this.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, so anyone can bump anyone.
Yeah. So when they do the bumping. So for this spot, when they do the bumping, the person who uses the expert also gets the bonus. That's what this means.
Gain a funding bonus when your expert bumps a worker.
Yeah. That's specifically this tile, which we will have randomized. So we may end up with that one or a different one when we play. But like anytime your worker bumps another worker, or your expert worker bumps a worker, you're getting whatever this tile is. Yeah.
It's just, it might not be.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it. And you have solo rules here. Rachel is the name of the NPC in solo.
Zoe, it's Rachel.
There are expansions, though. So we have the 2 expansions here. So I'll read one, you read one?
Sure.
So both of these are in our boxes. So as you can see, you have this blueprints box here. We have 1 and 2. Did I grab it right? I did not. That's yours. This is mine. So we have advancements and accommodation. So there's a few extra things that go on here. So the first thing is in advancements, which is this. It has a little symbol on it that indicates this is the advancements. It's like arrows pointing to the right. This module includes 48 blueprints, which replace the ones included in the base game. Instead of having half cabins, this is where the worker count comes in. Instead of having half cabins, these blueprints will have a half cabin in one of 3 places, left, center, or right, on the tops or bottoms. In order to build a segment to a ship, it must make a full cabin with the other segments. So if we take 2 of these out, you can see here, this one has a left-hand side, this has a center. So you can build it like this, you cannot build it like this. To make a cabin, at least.
Oh, so this one that adds that puzzle.
Yeah, so this adds a puzzle. I thought it was going to have all 3. Maybe it won't. I haven't read that far. So segments may be installed above other segments, below other segments, or in the middle of 2 previously installed segments. So when you build it into your ship, you can decide where to put the next location based on the connections to make cabins. Additionally, this module comes with upgraded versions of the technology tiles. Each technology tile now has a technology track along the top that determines the level of its ability. So we'll go through here. So these will be numbers A. It has an A next to it right there. So this is a normal. Perfect. That's a normal technology tile. This is one of the new technology tiles. At the start of a game, after placing the 4 technologies, place a technology tracker in the first space of that. So that is these little black cubes. So you just place this cube right there. As in the base game, a technology can only be used after it's been invented, meaning it has development up on the top track. Each time the technology is used, move the tracker over a space. This may occur at most once per turn. Whenever the tracker passes the gear symbols, which are these here in the center, this increases the cost of building a development on that technology. And the amount you must pay to use the technology increases by 1 money.
Cool.
When the tracker reaches the final space, it permanently removes the technology's ability. The The additional cost is added after any discounts. So if you have a discount that brings you to 0 or under 0, it goes to 0, and then this gets added on afterwards. You're always paying this cost. Additionally, we have module location bonus tokens. At the start of the game, randomly place a single bonus location on each of the 6 locations on the main board, with the grace outside up. Those are somewhere. There we go.
Are these?
No, those ones. Those are those, yes. Is there a grade outside? Oh, no, those aren't those. Those are... Where are these tokens?
Oh, those little...
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
So that is these tokens. So we'll move this box off.
Oh, yeah, because these would go...
These are going to go right here.
Down, yep, exactly.
So these little tokens will go right there. During the game, if there are 3 developments adjacent to a location, the location bonus token flips to its active side. So it says 3 developments adjacent to the location. I'm assuming it can be in total between both sides.
Yeah.
From now on, whenever you place a worker on the location, you immediately gain the bonus.
Nice.
So this one here, it says gain agenda cards times the tokens. And I'm assuming that's listed out. Let's see if they put it in the player aid.
Oh, here we go. Test.
They did not.
Sure, that's it.
Company goals, cockpit scoring, upgrades, turn structure, actions. They did not put the enhancements in here.
Oh, because probably in the other book. The appendix.
Oh, that's true. It's over there. It could be. So it shows this exact tile. So this location bonus requires you to have at least 2 adjacent in order to gain an... okay. So that is gain 1 agenda card if you have 2 adjacent developments.
So you'd have to have 1 in each spot.
Yes, because you cannot have 2 in the same spot. Yep. Some other components. So there's 6 new agenda cards. There's 2 new upgrade tokens for each person. So that's why we have 8 total of the black ones that go on the bottom of our player board. There's a new cockpit and engine combination that get added to that deck.
Yep.
There are 2 new expert worker tiles. So that is these tiles that will go onto the center there.
Yep.
So we have 2 new of those. We will have additionally location bonus tokens variants available. When playing with location bonus tokens, again, that's these, you may play with all of them flipped to their active side to start. No, thank you.
Interesting.
You also have advanced technologies. Similarly, you may play a variant with all of the technologies being the advanced ones and not the basic ones. They'll be a little bit more expensive, but more powerful. That one we might do. Let's see. Figure it out.
I mean, so far, though this sounds overly complicated to add in, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right. So the other one we have is accommodations. So more location areas. The accommodations expansions for Galactic Cruise include several modules which may be played individually or in any combination with another one. Additionally, all modules in the accommodations expansion may be played in any combination with modules from the advancements expansion, except the specialized blueprints module from the expansion and the cabin matching module from the advancement expansion cannot be combined, as both modules exclusively replace the 48 blueprints found in the base game. So you have to choose which stack of blueprints you're using, either accommodations, the advancements, or OG.
Yes. Which I do like that. They come in, each of these have their own box, so you just pick one of the 3 boxes, and you just go with what it is.
This module includes 48 blueprints, which will replace the ones included in the base game. They each have an action on them that can be triggered during a day in space as guests visit them. So let's see here. They each have an action that can be triggered during a day in space on them. Boom, boom.
Nice.
That's on screen, right?
Yep.
Cool. During setup, you will not place the base game guest bonus token on the marketing board. Instead, you will place the matching guest bonus tokens included in this expansion. That's what those are up top there, I believe. So there should be matching. So I assume actually right now we have these. It would be like this, and then this one would be the purple one.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. During a day in space, instead of gaining the guest bonuses like usual, you will instead send guests to different segments on the ship. For each guest, you will place them onto an available segment that includes their matching icon. Then, carry out the action, or gain the bonus, listed on that segment. If you have more than one guest, you may choose what order to place each guest, fully carrying out its action / bonus before moving on to the next. Cool. Each segment may only be triggered once per day in space. When building these segments, you must follow the cabin matching rules. So see company records book on page 7 for a list of all the specialized segments, actions, and bonuses. So that's the appendix, company records. Module, starting upgrade cards. These cards unlock an upgrade and remove an upgrade token from your launch tower at the beginning of the game. During setup, shuffle these cards and give 2 to each player. Do you have upgrade cards?
Nope.
Yes, you do. You thought they were solo.
I did.
There you go. Boop.
They told me to put them in that stack.
Well, yeah, because it's expansion, so it's like solo on the bottom, and with the upgrade stuff on top. Anyway, so you would shuffle those, give 2 to each player. Boom, that's what these are. On your first turn, before placing your worker, choose one of the starting upgrade cards to activate. Cool, so that's +3 reputation. And that one.
There's development.
So you gain the bonus listed on the upgrade token shown. Flip and remove it from your launch tower. Okay. And place it on the upgrade space shown. Actually, like right away. If this causes an immediate bonus from the upgrade, resolve it fully as well. Once completed, return both your starting upgrade cards to the box and continue your first turn. So, boom. Oh, because I guess we would be using, we wouldn't shuffle and randomly put these out. Like, we'd be using these upgrades if we're going to be using the upgrade cards as well.
Yeah.
We don't have to. Like, it's just starting upgrade cards.
Yeah.
So we would have to just make sure we paired the actual ones with the symbols. Actually, funny enough.
You have 1 of 2. I have the other one.
Oh, never mind. These actually advancements and accommodations.
Oh, so all of them might be in here. Oh, yeah, because this is basic.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting. So you may just get a dud, I guess.
Yeah. Nick would get 2 duds.
Shut up. Yeah, so on your first turn, before placing worker, choose one of your starting upgrade cards to activate. Gain the bonus listed on this upgrade token shown. Flip and remove it from your launch tower. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like in being a golem. It's like, hey, you get to do these things on your little tokens first to get a kickstart.
That makes sense. Except for playing a card. They remove 1 money funding bonus token from the launch tower. Gain 1 money and then place. Interesting. Cool. All right. Other components. So these components can be mixed in with the base game components, most be used regardless of which modules you're playing with. So agenda cards. There are 6 new agenda cards that can be added to the deck. Upgrade tokens. There are 2 new upgrade tokens for each player. Expert workers. There are 2 new expert worker tiles. Technologies. There are 2 new technologies. Then you have same thing. So that's that long tile that had the upgraded technology. Variants. Starting upgrade card auction variant. When playing with this variant, you will bid for your starting upgrade card. Give each player 3 additional money to start the game with. Shuffle the upgrade cards and place 1 face up per player. Each player secretly places an amount of money into their hand. Reveal all bids simultaneously. And then each player, in order of highest to lowest bid, takes 1 of the upgrade cards. Ties are broken in the favor of the player that is later in turn order. All bids are paid to the supply. Starting upgrade cards balancing variant. When playing with players of different skills, just reading that. Agenda card clarifications and then solo. Cool.
All right.
Nice.
So yeah, so a lot of pieces, a lot of things going on, but very straightforward. If you're a little overwhelmed if you're a little overwhelmed with like everything you see on this board, 2 recommendations from my perspective. 1, they have a great player aid. It gives you everything in here. So how to earn points is in here. It gives you information on your whole turn action and a little blurb about each one. goes over the cockpit scoring. So each cockpit you buy, what those symbols are on here, it tells you all that, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So very detailed.
Yeah, gives you the launching your ship, but most importantly on the back here, it gives you your turn structure, which honestly isn't actually that complicated. So at step 1, advance your ship. If you have a ship in orbit, advance your pilot 1 space, and then do those bonus actions, unlocking an upgrade, gaining bonus points. Says it all right here. Step 2, assign a worker. So choose. Step 2B is launching a ship after assigning a worker. Step 2C is calling a meeting if all your workers are out there and you can't assign anyone. Then 3, potentially accomplish company goal. That's it.
Yep.
Pre-flight checklist is there as you're getting ready to launch a ship, which would be part of this 2B area.
Yep. Yeah, and again, the benefit to this game, and I love how they did this, is what we just showed you on the board is the intro.
Yep.
So start with the intro. Don't put any expansions in. Don't add anything else. Just start the intro, play it out.
Yep.
See if you get, and then when you're comfortable with it, flip the board over, add expansions, shuffle up all of the location things for the different actions, and divvy those out, and all of the other things that'll happen in a standard game. So it's almost like they gave you a mini tutorial version of the board and then a full version, which I enjoy. Not many games have done that.
Yeah, this is really smart about like getting those on there. Like, okay, this is probably the easiest combination, things that relate to each other on the board. You can do your thing. We'll put out the easiest version of these. What it does is it saves them rulebook paper as well.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, set the game up in this way and this, find this, do that, find this, blah, blah, blah. They're like, you know what? Why waste the back of the board? Let's use it.
Yeah.
Let's make that the introduction that we would have, you know, in the rulebook to begin with.
And it keeps it simple. So like, oh, both of these are agenda card based. Both of these are this resource tower based. Yep. So it definitely goes very simply to be like, okay, here is each grouping without it being too overwhelming.
Did you take the box for the, those two in there?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Wow.
Well, everybody, that was our rulebook rundown of Galactic Cruise. Very excited to jump into this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A good head-to-head match. Yep, I got it right over here. Boop. Boom. Galactic Cruise. Hopefully you enjoyed the rulebook rundown. Hopefully it was informative. If you didn't watch the entire thing, hopefully you're able to jump to the chapter where you had some questions. Something we like to do when we do our rulebook rundowns, we do this instead of just a straight how to play, is because we run into questions. We have, like, how do we do this? How do we do that? And then we get it right from the source as we're learning. So hopefully that helps you out too. Yeah.
And you see our thought process as we're going through to be like, hey, what questions do we think of? And then it answers it 3 seconds later.
Yep. Yeah. Never fails. But join us for our first playthrough. We will definitely have that up soon once we go through and actually do a playthrough. So if you want to know when that's going to be, tune into our Instagram at Bald and Board Games, just like this channel. We also have a Discord as well. And if you're catching this on YouTube, which obviously would be, we didn't do this live, we also have a Twitch where we stream our playthroughs live. So if you want to come and talk to us while we play this for the first time, join us when we do that. It'll most likely be either on a Thursday around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or it'll be on a Saturday around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Or
Pacific?
What did I say? Pacific? Pacific. I've been talking a lot. 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or potentially earlier. So definitely check out our Instagram to figure that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty. Cool. Well, thank you for joining us here at Bald and Board Games. The rulebook rundown. Galactic Cruise by Kinson Key Games. My mouth is quitting, but I'm bored. I'm not. I'm bald. Jesus, I told you.
I'm bored.
All right.